Hey GED students, it's GED question of the daytime, and it looks like I'm finding a percent again. Take a look at what I mean. It says to the nearest tenth of a percent, 17 is what percent of 42? Now, last video I showed you two different ways to solve this problem. I don't always go both ways, so I'll just let you know this particular one looks really easy to translate into an algebraic equation for me. So that's the way I'm going to do it, because this right here is almost in the language of algebra. I just need a little bit of work to finish it up. Let me show you what I mean. Obviously, the number 17 is already in this, language of signs and symbols that we use in algebra with the numeric symbols. So I'll just write that down. Now, we learned last video that if you say something is something else in math, you're saying that the two things are equal, like 17 is 2x would mean 17 equals 2x. So is means equal. So when I see the word is, I'm going to write an equal sign. Now, the next thing I see is an unknown. The unknown here is the percent. It says what percent. 17 is what percent? So I don't know my percent. Next word I see here is of, and we said that the word of means multiply. Like literally half of 10 means half times 10, or 50% of 42 means 50% times 42. So when I see the word of, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to use my parentheses to mean multiplying here. And now what does it tell me to multiply that unknown percent by? What percent of 42? It says 42, so I'm going to multiply it by 42. Now this is a math equation, 17 equals p times 42, but it's not written normally. Just an FYI, when we want to multiply together a variable like p and a number like 42, how we do that in algebra is we write the number first, we call that a coefficient, and we write the variable portion section second. So what is p times 42? Well, it's just simply 42p, and that is equal to 17. And now I've written an algebraic equation that I can solve in order to figure out what this unknown p is. How would I solve something like this? Well, since 42 and p are multiplying, and we do the opposite to solve, I will divide away that 42. Now, the rule of solving is you can do whatever you want as long as you do it to both sides. So let me jump across that equal sign, divide by 42 over there as well. Now, what's going to happen on the right-hand side? Well, multiplying by 42 and dividing by 42 are opposites, so they will cancel, leaving me with just a p on the right. And then on the left-hand side, there's the math to do. Take 17 and divide by 42. And I'm going to do that in my calculator. Make sure you go in the order it's been presented or you'll get a wrong answer. 17 divided by 42 is 0.404, yada, yada. There's a lot of numbers there. I'll deal with the numbers at the end, okay? Now, notice, this is not a percent yet. Yes, the equation solved. Yes, I should find out what p equals. But take a look. This answer right here is in decimal form. I've done no work to turn it into a percent. And I was supposed to have an answer. Notice it says what percent. I was supposed to have an answer that was in percent form. So I'm going to have to do one extra step here to convert my decimal into a percent. That extra step is multiplying by 100%. The easy way to do that is just slide your decimal place over once, twice. 2 places over is the shortcut way to multiply by 100. And I get that it's 40.4 yada, yada, yada about percent. Now that I have that answer there, I can follow any rounding directions. And indeed, there were some rounding directions. My problem said to the nearest tenth of a percent. Uh-oh, I better pick up another decimal place. Let's see, 4047676. Okay, I realized I needed that extra decimal place because when you're rounding, you always have to look not at the place they told you to round to, the tenths place, but at the next place. So they told me to round to the tenths place. Yes, that's the 4. But I got to look at the next number, the one I'm about to throw away, the 7, and ask myself, is it big enough to matter? And indeed, if you're halfway through your digits, if you're 5 or higher, your number's big enough to matter. So before you throw that 7 away, its last final act is going to be to bump its buddy up. The tenths place is actually going to go up. So I'm going to call that about 40.5%. All right, if you have any questions about this or any other GED math topic, be sure to drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it.